Yes, yes, yes. We are live on a special emergency episode of Skull State of Mind. Now, check it out. The Minnesota Vikings have just re-signed Brian Flores to a new contract to keep him in Minnesota as their defensive coordinator. But here's the catch. He still is able to leave if he finds himself a head coaching job. Now, I know a lot of y'all already understand the verbiage with that. Y'all understand that, if a coordinator from one team gets a promotion to a head coach or something like that, the team can allow that to happen. But if it's a defensive coordinator, let's see what's going on. But yeah, we got Purple Soda in the building. And hey, man, y'all already know I keep it real and transparent on my channel. Now, this is how I feel about it. I feel the Minnesota Vikings are playing themselves. And I see a lot of people out there that are celebrating Brian Flores coming back to the Minnesota Vikings potentially, and this defense is going to be good next year. I get all that. This has nothing to do with Brian Flores and what he can do as a defensive coordinator. But my gripe is this. How does that set up the Minnesota Vikings for the future? And if we trying to be a franchise that's going to be in contention for a Super Bowl, get some playoff wins, be a mainstay good team, ask yourself this question. Is Brian Flores going to look for another head coaching job this year? So let's talk about it, TB. Now, I'm just telling everybody in the chat right now how I feel about it and how I look at it like this, though. This has nothing to do with Brian Flores as a coach in general and what he can do on the field. It has nothing to do with that. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, none of that. But all I'm saying is this just truly shows that the Minnesota Vikings don't have any forethought for the future, because by you allowing this to happen with Brian Flores, you're going to be in the same predicament next year. And I got some people out there that saying maybe, Kevin O'Connell gets fired and Brian Flores takes the job. Like that's okay to think about it, but let's just think about it from a point of view of what the actual facts are. Brian Flores went out there and took a lot of interviews, and it seems like nobody called back. So then he went to the Minnesota Vikings to solidify his job just in case he don't get the head coaching hire, which in turn puts the Minnesota Vikings in limbo. Like, how do you feel about it, Tony? Let me know.
Okay, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you. You're straight. You're good.
Okay. Vikings put themselves in limbo.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you why. You knew he was going to go look for another. He was going to go for these interviews. You knew it. Mm-hmm. But this is where the Vikings need to explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Okay. You're telling us you gave him a contract extension. His contract ran out on the 13th, but you're announcing today that you signed him to a contract extension.
Right.
So, correct me. After the 13th, he's a free agent. He can go anywhere.
It ain't really.
He's not under contract.
It's just a new contract. Yeah.
Here's what you're saying, and you gotta ask Brian Flores representative too. If I'm a free agent, I'm going back to the existing contract that I had before.
No, what I see happening is this: his contract basically ran out last week,
right?
Like you said,
right.
And what happened was the Minnesota Vikings got scared because it takes some time for you to actually bring coaches in to actually interview them. Durante Jones is going to interview for the Packer job, and he's going to interview for another job. I think it's the Dallas job or whatever. So they were like, that was the backup plan, and he's probably going to leave too. Instead of the Minnesota Vikings being proactive, me personally, as soon as I saw Brian Flores interview for the DC job, that lets me know, all right, this might be a lateral move. Maybe he playing, hardball, and he wants some leverage. The leverage the Vikings had was bringing in multiple people to interview for that same position. What
and
this does,
they didn't do that.
They didn't do that. Like, in my opinion, what this does is that keeps the placeholder as Brian Flores for the DC just in case something else comes available.
This right here, if Brian Flores had walked away, this would have been a PR nightmare for this football team.
Yeah.
Public relations nightmare. This right here keeps the friggin' purple positivity going because he signed this bullshit contract extension. Here's my thing. If I'm Brian Flores, I done bailed your friggin' head coach out that you think walks on water for the last 2 years. You think I'm coming back for the same price tag?
Right.
Why the hell would I do that? Guess what? I could go to another team. By the way, Green Bay was mentioned as one of those teams that wanted to talk to him.
Right. And look what happened today.
Yep. And right there, once that happened, the Wilfs panicked and they decided to put this shit out there. I think it's bullshit. I think it's just a PR thing. It's a knee-jerk reaction because they're going to lose him. They were going to lose him.
But that's the thing, though, with me. Like, so what? Like, you're going to lose coordinators. Mike Zimmer lost offensive coordinators like every other season. Like, I don't understand. Like, what you so scared about? There's guys out there that's capable of running a different type of defense, and it still might be successful under the Vikings. Like, I don't know what though.
The funny thing is, D Woods, they weren't scared until Green Bay started looking for a defensive coordinator. Yeah. And they're going to lose Durante Jones.
Right.
They're going to lose him. Talk to Flores too.
Yeah, they panicked.
The Wilfs panicked.
They panicked, and it's like, I just don't understand it. I see a lot of people out there celebrating, oh, Brian Flores is back. You're going to have this conversation about Brian Flores again next season if he stays.
Yeah, this is the thing. Here's another thing, people. Let's look at this whole picture, big picture in the NFL. How is Jeff Hafley more
qualified,
more qualified than Brian Flores? How does Kevin Stefanski keep getting another job after the BS he went through with in Cleveland?
Exactly.
It's like they want to recycle these same sorry-ass coaches, but the ones that deserve the shot aren't getting it. You can't – this is the whole thing. You're now turning Brian Flores into Eric Bieniemy.
I can see that. Yeah.
And this lawsuit bullshit, forget that, okay? If they're gonna use a lawsuit right there, all he's got to do is trigger that lawsuit and make that lawsuit public and put whatever in there, and that is a black eye to this league, big time.
And I just don't understand it. Like from the Viking standpoint, as owners and management, you have to do what's best for your franchise for the future. The best case scenario, in my opinion, would have been just letting Brian Flores figure it out.
You're gonna have to move on
and just move on. It's easier that way, and then you have somebody else in here, and people got to understand this though, right? Like Kevin O'Connell is going into a situation where he's going to be on the hot seat again. So I'm willing to bet Kevin O'Connell was probably one of the ones in the office pounding the table to do what they got to do to bring back Brian Flores. And if Brian Flores doesn't get offered a head coach position, he's still gone.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that people are not understanding. This is only basically like a 1-year rental, if that. We don't know what the Raiders are going to do yet. Raiders haven't offered to interview him or whatever.
No, it sounds like, from my sources, it sounds like Kubiak might get that gig. Don't ask me. Don't ask me why. They're waiting, and everybody's waiting for
Denver
the Indiana head coach.
Yeah,
to see what he's going to do because they think that Tom Brady might hire him and then draft Mendoza.
Right.
That to me would be a disaster.
Yeah,
I'm just going to put that out there.
It would be a disaster. I'm just saying, like, I just don't understand this. Sometimes you got to cut the Band-Aid to get a little bit better.
The Vikings have always been reactive. The Wilfs have never been proactive. The Wilfs will tell you they're being proactive, but they're being reactive.
Yeah, they're being reactive. And it's like, it's the same old shit over and over again. And I keep telling people over and over again, it's not about Brian Flores. I want this team to succeed. In order for this team to succeed, they're going to have to do things that's going to be better for them for the future. Brian Flores as a defensive coordinator, it's only going to be a short-term fix. Sooner or later, you're going to have to feel that with somebody else. This would have been a perfect year to do it.
Well, and here's another thing too. You're going to go up against offenses that figure out his defense.
Exactly. So now they got tape on his defense from last year. So what is he going to do different now? What happens is this, though, and I want these same fans to be honest next year when we're talking to have this conversation with the season. Let's say that Flores defense does take a step back. They're going to be the same ones. Weakest person. But y'all celebrating this shit right now.
Yeah.
You could have brought in Raheem Morris. He's not going to get a head coaching job anytime soon. Jonathan Gannon is not going to get a head coaching job anytime soon. Well, you could have solidified your DC for the next couple of seasons. That's what you have to do as a franchise. And even if Kevin O'Connell gets fired next year and everybody, gets blown out, at the end of the day, you still would have had something on defense. You see what Atlanta did? They blew out Raheem Morris, but kept the whole defensive staff there.
They kept Ulbrich there because Ulbrich was going to go.
Yeah,
he got another gig somewhere.
Sometimes you got to do that.
My whole thing, though, what the hell does Stefanski prove in Cleveland to make him worthy of another gig?
I don't know. I have no idea. I thought he was going to take a year off of football. To tell you the truth, I just don't understand.
Here's the thing: Flores could still get a head coaching gig.
Yeah.
And if he really, if Flores is going to bet on himself, he would take that Cleveland gig.
Yeah.
He would take that because it looks like nobody's rushing to Cleveland. Flores would take that Cleveland gig. First of all, you got Myles Garrett on defense.
Yep.
You've got Myles Garrett, and I'm sure Flores could work with or find an offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach that could work with if they keep him, Shedeur Sanders. But Cleveland is a dumpster fire because Stefanski didn't know what to do with the quarterback position, and he screwed that up completely.
Yeah, and this is the thing though too. Somebody said right here, to coach of the year goes a long way in the eyes of a franchise. Think about this, right here.
But
though.
You know what though? It goes a long way, but if you don't win a playoff game or nothing, if you're off and on, that tells you right there that something.
What's up, Barber? But why are you winning Coach of the Year twice? Coach of the Year is an accolade that's there for maybe a young coach that's coming to a new team or going to a team that's basically a shit show, and you do good. So you're telling me that he had a shit show multiple times to where he won Coach of the Year, but still never got that team over the hump to be a consistent, successful team? That's not an accolade to me.
No.
You shouldn't win Coach of the Year twice. That's like winning Rookie of the Year twice.
And I'm going to tell you right now, Coach of the Year in the NFL don't mean nothing.
It don't mean nothing. What up, Barber?
What's up, Barber? Because it's oh God.
Hey, you know what though, Tony? I thought about this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let you chime in what I've been thinking, man.
Okay.
All this talk about the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm glad To Evil the Hope said this, man.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's talking about Mac Jones. Everybody's talking about Aaron Rodgers, all these other quarterbacks. How would you feel if the Minnesota Vikings brought in Deshaun Watson as their quarterback? Not for the future, but just as their quarterback. Even though I looked at the numbers, they still going to have a lot of cap casualties, penalties if they, let them go, stuff like that. But, and I understand Watson hasn't played in a couple of seasons, but that's the kind of player that you would want to try to redeem himself. And that's the kind of player Kevin O'Connell would want to try to get back on the right track so he can continue to be that coach, quarterback guru. I'm not saying I want Deshaun, but I'm saying he might be available.
Well, here's the thing now with Deshaun. He's coming off that, what is it, Achilles?
Yeah, Achilles.
So he would be a pocket quarterback, which is what KOC wants.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And there was never nothing wrong with his arm.
Yeah, with his arm.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback. He could make plays on his feet though, too.
Yeah.
But now with that Achilles,
we don't know what kind of quarterback he's going to be.
He would have to take a major, major, major pay cut.
Yeah, but if they cut him or they try to trade him,
but you're gonna have to find a team that's willing to take over.
Yeah, take over it.
But
But
contract.
I don't know who said that right here. I think it was Too Evil. He said basically saying that the biggest problem with Quasi is that they're desperate. I had this conversation before also that the worst thing you can do for a franchise is have a general manager and a coach that's desperate because they're going to be swinging for the fences and just to keep their job.
Yeah, they've been hitting foul balls.
Yeah, they've been
all the time. They're not. The inevitable is going to happen. They're both going to be gone.
They're both going to get fired, and it's just. Yeah. I just don't understand that. I don't like this whole thing was about the Flores situation. I understand Flores just leverage and see what happens and see if other teams call, but it's going to be a crazy situation if Brian Flores, for some reason, because we still got a whole offseason ahead of us. There's a lot to happen. You feel me?
So somebody brought up too, with the Senior Bowl and all that coming up, the Vikings don't have any defensive coaches to go down there. Yeah, they don't even have an offensive line coach.
Yeah, because they're sitting on their hands.
Yeah, they're not. It's like they're just sitting around, twiddling their thumbs, waiting for somebody to fall in their lap.
So, and I'm glad you said that about the Senior Bowl. So we got multiple draft picks, almost 10. Mm-hmm. There can't be any excuse on why you draft the wrong players because you weren't prepared. This team is not prepared.
No.
Like I'm just calling it out right now. This team is not prepared. The Senior Bowl is in a couple of weeks, and you don't have a defensive coaching staff. You just retained Flores today, so you don't know if Deontay Jones.
And that's not a guarantee with Flores.
That's not a guarantee. And then you haven't hired an offensive line coach. What are you doing? What are you doing as a franchise? You guys are just doing shit. They be doing shit.
They're reactive. They're not doing anything proactive. They're reactive. This whole offseason has been reactive.
As soon as they fired Chris Cooper, they shouldn't have been interviewing offensive line.
They didn't fire Cooper.
They just
let his contract expire. It expired the same day as Brian Flores.
Yeah. So what are we talking about here? Like, what are we doing, man? It's like that's why I'm saying. For everybody that's in the chat and everybody that's watching, I'm asking the question, like, this ain't something we should be celebrating. This is a red flag. Because, like, Tony brought up a good point. The Senior Bowl is in a couple of weeks, and you have no defensive coaches on that side of the ball that can actually go down there. So who are you sending to the Senior Bowl? Just the scouts? You don't have an offensive line coach.
No.
You're going to bring back Matt Daniels, for the special teams coordinator, and you're bringing back what's his name, Wes Phillips for offensive coordinator, and you still going to bring back Josh McCown. You're running the whole thing back. Like thank you, Barbara. The scouts are trash.
Yeah, the scouts are trash.
Like, what is going on here? This isn't nothing to celebrate. This is a major red flag. They waited till Brian Flores got interest from the Packers, and they figured this whole little PR stunt out, and there's still a possibility he's going to leave. If the language was different to where it said, Tony, Brian Flores signed a 3-year deal with the Minnesota Vikings, and he canceled all the rest of his interviews, he's going to be focused on the Vikings for the foreseeable future. All right, cool. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't say that.
No, it says unless he gets a head coaching gig, which here's where Viking fans jump the gun, which means he's not going to make a lateral move.
Yeah.
How much you want to bet he makes a lateral move if there's an assistant coach tag to that?
Do it.
Assistant head coach, which we got an assistant head coach opening now. So here's my thing. Did you give that to him?
Yeah. Coach Cairns made a good point. He said they probably gave Flores a wink nudge if KOC flops next season, that Flores can be the head coach. I don't see them giving Flores the head coaching job.
Here's the thing with that too, Coke. The Vikings have only fired one coach during the season once, and that was Brad Childress because of Randy Moss talking to the Wilfs. That's the only reason. They're not the type, they'll play the whole season out. before they get rid of. And the thing with KOC is this team jumped through hurdles and badmouthed Jim Harbaugh to hire KOC. So they're going to make sure that they hang on to KOC during the season. Denny resigned at the last game of the season. He was not fired. Okay. Denny resigned. That's where people get it wrong with Denny. Denny Green resigned.
And Lefty said it's a different owner too.
That was it was Red McCollum, but Denny resigned. Yeah. He was not fired, Lefty. He was not fired. He resigned.
Hey, Lefty, how you feel about the Flores situation, Lefty? Let me know. Let me know how you feel about the Flores.
I'm positive he resigned. He resigned.
Hey.
That is true.
That is true. Like I'm willing to be the only one to be like, this is bullshit. Like, I don't mind sitting over there. I don't mind, because I just look at it from a standpoint of what are we doing as a franchise?
Yeah,
they have no plan. Like, they have no plan, and everybody know I come on here time after time, and I be like, "Hey, man, we can't fire Quasi. Quasi, are you the GM or not? Because now I've been defending you, and you just a goddamn flunky."
Okay, D Woods, remember what I told you about Quasi?
I know, but I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to believe it. Hey, Barber, I was there. I was good with Flores leaving because you was able to bring in somebody else that was going to be here long term. You still are going to have the same problem next year.
This is inevitable. What's going on right now is going to happen again next year.
It's going to happen next year.
Hey, go back to Coke, his comment. KOC was a will fire.
Yeah.
KOC was a will fire. Quasi wanted to hire Jim Harbaugh. So, but yeah, I mean, it's you're going back the same BS you're going through this offseason, you're gonna go through next offseason.
And think about it like this though, right? Let's say the Minnesota Vikings do what they do best, which is make the playoffs every other year. And let's say they make the playoffs and they lose again, but that defense still is good. Who's going to be the top commodity the next offseason as the hot shot defensive mind? Brian Flores. So you lose him again. And then you have to think about it. Do you fire Kevin O'Connell because now he's 0-3 in the playoffs? Like what do you do? What do you do?
Hey, this one here by Lefty is a good one, and I'll handle B, because that lawsuit could be a reason for teams that he's not getting a gig, but I'm more and more leaning to the point of they're just basically, if anybody's blocking all these moves, it's probably Goodell.
Right.
And because if that lawsuit goes public, he does not want that lawsuit to go public.
Right.
That could be bad news for the NFL. Now, here's the wild card. Keep this in mind, folks. I brought this up. The wild card could be the Raiders, and I say this: it's rumored that Kubiak's going to go there. But if Tom Brady really wanted to stick it to the NFL and stick it to Roger Goodell, he'd hire Brian Flores.
Brian Flores. Yeah.
And there is no love lost between Brady and Goodell. They haven't reached out yet.
They haven't reached out yet.
I think Kubiak coaching still? He's with Seattle.
Yeah, Kubiak is with the Broncos. He's the offensive coordinator. Not Broncos. He's with the I think about old school Kubiak. My bad.
Yeah, old school. You're thinking, yeah.
I'm thinking about Gary. He's Clint is with Seattle. He's the OC for Seattle.
Okay, so he could possibly not be available for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah. So that brings me back to my point. There's still a possibility Flores might leave. Like there might be other jobs outside of the Raiders that want to talk to Clint, but they can't right now because they're gonna have to wait to that in between time where basically they gotta wait to the week of the Pro Bowl of when they can make the coaches available again, because they can't be available right now because they're going to the championship games.
And I said this before. I think right now Brian Flores is getting the Eric Bieniemy treatment.
He's getting the complete blackball.
Yeah. And I think it could be because of lawsuit. It could be because you can't tell me that Jeff Hafley is more ready to be a head coach than Brian Flores. You can't tell me that. I'm not going to believe it. No.
No, he's gonna flame out in Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, he gonna flame out. He gonna get the Brian Flores treatment. He gonna be out in 2 years.
Right. Oh,
Like,
Coke had a good thing. He couldn't understand why Kubiak wasn't retained. The reason KOC took this gig was one to call plays.
Yeah.
He took this gig to call plays. It's his offense. He put in very few offensive-minded coaches when they take over a team. They retain anybody from the previous offense.
Yeah, they blow up
their own people.
That side of the ball.
Yep. And with KOC, he's never ever called plays. So this was his big opportunity.
You know what, Lefty? You make a good point with that one. Yep. You make a good point. If Flores' lawsuit is ongoing and then he gets fired, that's more ammo for Flores. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It could still be ammo now, though.
Yeah.
Because you're going for here's what the thing. Teams that are interviewing him, they're basically acknowledging the Rooney Rule.
Yeah.
That's it. But everybody who's getting hired is not a minority.
Right.
Only one that would be considered minority is Saleh, which came out of nowhere down in Tennessee.
I think they've been working on that Saleh angle for a long time, because it seems like as soon as they got eliminated, pow.
Yeah, then they had put it out there that it was going to be Nagy, and then Nagy leaves Kansas City.
Where is Nagy at now?
He's unemployed, I believe.
Yeah, because Eric Bieniemy is now
got his gig.
He got the OC over there in Kansas City, which makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it makes sense. They had a better offense under under Bieniemy, but to the Vikings, man, this shit ain't making sense. Lefty, man, how you feel, man? Let me know. Do you think this whole Brian Flores situation is just a PR move? Did the Vikings play themselves? Are they Flores' bottom bitch? Like, let me know, because Flores can go out there and mess around with all them girls, and he can come back here because he know he got a job. That's messed up, in my opinion. I just think the Vikings should have just moved on.
But you know what, though? Blame the Vikings, because they basically sat there and waited and let him get a so is what come back.
So Tony, this is how I would have played it.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the season, hey Brian, what you want to do? I understand you're gonna want to do X, Y, and Z. I know you want to be a head coach, but let's work on a contract for you to get back. All right, cool. The moment he interviewed for a DC job as a franchise, Quasi and everybody in the front office and Kevin O'Connell, I would have said it's on then. I'm just gonna bring everybody in right now. Gannon, come in. Anybody. Yeah, because you're letting him go interview multiple places while you sitting at home like this. Oh, I hope he doesn't go. Like, no, you need to get busy. And that's a problem, man. Like, that's a big problem for me. Like, Brian Flores, man, I feel for you. You did what you did. That's best for your family. Because now you solidified the point of being, if you don't get a job, you can always come back to the Vikings. But the Vikings might be playing themselves. We got one from
here's the thing too, Coke, about them comp picks. Do you trust the Vikings making the right picks, because they can't draft worth a damn? And then when you get those picks, do you trust this coaching staff to develop those picks?
Yeah, true. I don't and that's Flores too.
Yep.
That's both sides of the ball. We got somebody said right here, basically, the Steeler job. I think McCarthy's gonna get the Steeler job.
Why do they want McCarthy?
I have no idea, because he's a Pittsburgh. He's a Pennsylvania guy.
Oh God. This is what I don't see. This is what I don't understand with the NFL.
Flores has already taken his interviews, and if he wanted those jobs, then he wouldn't have signed it. It doesn't matter if he
Here's the thing, though. This is what nobody's explaining to me. Nobody's explaining this to me. Obviously, if he signed an extension at all, he signed it before the 13th because he was a free agent. If that's the case, why did it take the Vikings this long to announce that he signed an extension?
Yeah, right.
Why did he wait so long to say that? That's what I don't understand.
Because he wanted to experience what it's going to be like with them other girls out there.
And there still could be. I mean, Dabble's supposedly going to Buffalo.
That's good for him.
Yeah, he's got the connection to Josh Allen. Unless Quasi wants to, unless Beeflo wants to take a chance with Arizona.
They don't celebrate Martin Luther King Day.
Okay, that's out. That's out.
Yeah, because he interviewed for them before they hired Gannon, and then he declined the second interview. So they probably like, you blew us off.
You know what though? If you go into an interview with the Bidwells and you see how they do their shit, you're probably like, yeah, I ain't going back to that.
Yeah.
No. So his real possibility then.
Yeah, see, exactly. We got somebody that know what he's talking about. Extension doesn't matter anyway. If it's a promotion, he's gone. And that's why it goes back to my point. You shouldn't have just moved on and let him do what he wanted to do.
But somebody had a good, I think it might have been Lefty. I think he's the one that brought it up that maybe the Vikings knew he wasn't going to get a gig.
Yeah. I just think Lefty the link. He's probably going to jump on in a minute.
Yeah, maybe he already knew. And that's a possibility too.
That's a possibility.
You know, but I mean, but you look at who's getting head coaching jobs.
They'll be fired in 2 years.
And they're real heads. I mean, the Hafley one, you're going to Miami, dude. You're done. You're going to Miami. Exactly. You're done. And I can tell you right now, I have it on good authority. Atlanta Falcon fans hate the Stefanski hire. They hate it. Oh my God. They do not like it. So good luck with that one.
Yeah. Good luck with that one. Yeah. I'm just saying, man, it's like they're delaying the inevitable. This team. Okay, we got Lefty in the building. There we go. What's up, Lefty? You're loading, man. He's loading.
Okay.
He's loading. Yeah, you're loading, man.
Oh, hey.
There's Lefty. What's up, Lefty?
Sorry. You guys hear me fine?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Okay, good. I just wiped my computer and reformatted it and reinstalled a whole bunch of shit, so I was just making sure that everything's working right. But no, what were we talking about now? We're talking about Flores.
Yeah.
Flores playing the Vikings. Flores using the Vikings.
I think. If you're sitting there as you're Brian Flores, you want a head coaching job. Mm-hmm. You probably know you're not going to get one, but you're probably going to just as him and the Vikings, as far as an extension goes, he probably wanted to see what the market was before he came back, and I'm sure the Vikings were like, if you want to go see what you else can get, and give us the right to match any offer that you get, great. Kind of got to believe that's kind of what the situation was, as opposed to, him just being like, yeah, I'm not coming back here. But, I guess I will come back here or whatever. I don't know, but
I hope he's not.
Well, I don't think it was either. But as far, like I was saying in chat, like as far as like his head coaching thing goes, that shit with that lawsuit, like that, I don't think they can afford to give him, because you can. When it comes to that lawsuit, you can sit there and you can fall back on, if you're the NFL, and be like, look, we didn't, maybe they're maybe Goodell's colluding, with the owners or whatever, and being like, hey, we got this shit going on right now with him. We can't have any, ammunition for him in his legal fight against us. Give him a DC job, but we can't have him in a head coaching job. Because if he is, and one of you guys fires him, whether it's for cause or not, he's still going to be able to play that. And so I think that's what's going on. So it's probably in the best interest of the NFL to not give him a job. I think if there was one group of owners that would give him a job, I think it's here. I think it's the Wilfs.
The Wilfs would do
I think the Wilfs would be like, fuck you, I'm going to do it. But I don't think the Raiders would do it.
But Lefty, do you think
I say the Raiders because there is no love lost between Tom Brady and Roger Goodell.
True.
None whatsoever. That's
Now-
why I said the Raiders.
Now, Lefty, do you
How much,
think
how much control does? Go ahead. Sorry, D-Woods. You go ahead.
do you think that the way Flores has handled the situation with the Vikings are scaring away other teams, like long term, like with the contract being all the way out, being done, and then he's going out there, flirting with defensive coordinator jobs, even though that's probably like a move to kind of like bring up the price. Do you think
That's probably what it is.
Yeah, do you think other teams look at that like this dude didn't even like sit there and just, you get what I'm saying? Like that's kind of messy.
You know what? Players do it all the time.
Yeah, that's the players though. But do you want a coach doing it?
We're gonna, yeah.
Well, you know what? That went out the window with Josh McDaniel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody in the NFL as a collective understands that it's a business, and everybody in the NFL, whether you're a coach, a player, or an owner, are all looking for the best deal for them. Hold on one second. Okay. Sorry, I got yelled at for being too loud. I'm trying to crank my mic up and talk slower, but they're all looking for the best deal for them. And I think most people are just going to be, I think everybody's going to be pretty understanding as far as that goes. Like they're all just going to be like, I get it. Okay. You want the best, you want the most that you can get. We want the best deal for us. I don't think I don't think people are too bitter about that, to be honest.
So where do you see the Vikings like long term? Like, do you think this is a move to where it's just a placeholder, or the Vikings are going to actually like, all right, defense is back, Flores one of the top defenses in the league, let's go? Or are we going to be like sometime next season, like sitting here like, dang man, they had the opportunity to change things up, and they just didn't do it.
As far as with Flores,
the whole
coaching
in general,
the whole coaching staff. Yeah, like
I mean, you know this as well as anybody else, TB, that the Wilfs are very, very hands off, and they are very, very patient. And especially so. I mean, if you think about it, they've had 3 different regimes now, right?
Yeah.
They had remember the triangle of authority thing back in like 2005,
I'm still
2006.
trying to forget that, dude.
And it was terrible, right? Yeah. But so they had that deal with like the head coach and
that was
that one guy that was here for like a week and then he lied on his resume.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
He was running around Winter Park threatening to fire everybody, and the season hadn't even started.
Right. And then so they kind of went that way, and that worked it worked okay for a while until the Leslie Frazier thing didn't really work. Mm-hmm. When they fired Brad Childress, they should have just cleaned house.
Yeah,
after that.
Well, and the reason they hung on to Leslie was because Leslie was a hot commodity as a next head coach.
Yep,
for sure.
Yeah,
but cheap McCombs 4 playoff wins. Well, 2 was it 4? I thought it was only. Oh no, it was 3. It was 1 in 98, 1 in 99, 1 in 2000, 1 in 2004. That's right. I'll get back to that in a second. But and then they went the traditional. We're going to have a GM who's in charge of everything.
Yep.
And he's gonna, and that's. I think they did that. Actually, they did that when. I'm sorry, they did that when Childress got fired.
Yeah, they were.
They made Spearman GM, and he hired Frazier. Yeah. And then he fired Frazier, which I always kind of thought, like, after drafting Christian Ponder, how do you look Leslie Frazier straight in the face and fire him? I don't get me wrong. I did not think that Leslie Frazier should have got that job. I thought they should have cleaned house completely. And my opinion at the time was they should have brought in a
once again,
head coach with experience. But
it was a knee-jerk reaction because the Wilfs, like you said, were so hands off. They had no idea what was going on with this team, and it took Randy Moss literally calling Ziggy Wilf and telling him.
Well, yeah, when when Childress got fired, for sure.
When Childress cut him, he called Ziggy, and then that weekend the Vikings got their butts kicked by the Packers, and that was it.
Yeah, but the Vikings, to the piggyback what Lefty said,
got shut out, I think, didn't we?
Huh?
Did we get shut out in that game?
No, we actually got a field goal.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
To piggyback what Lefty said about the coaching, right? The Vikings haven't hired an experienced head coach almost ever.
No, they haven't.
They hired one with head coaching experience, and it wasn't NFL head coaching experience. It was CFL head coaching experience. I mean, that one worked out pretty well.
Jerry Burns was college experience.
Yeah, he was coach at Iowa.
Yeah, we've never hired. Yeah,
it's all my first-time head coaches.
Yeah, we get these coaches that are like the hot commodity. Childress was a hot commodity.
We need to get a real coach. Real coach.
Oh my God, the Childress one was so bad.
Ugh. That hire is probably what's haunting this team.
Quite on, like looking back at it, like, I was not alive for. I was alive for Les Steckel, but I turned 30 during the season.
Les Steckel was a bargaining tool for Bud to get a new contract.
That's an insane bargaining tool because damn.
He knew Les was going to fail. He knew Les was going to fail because if he was really smart, he would have recommended Jerry Burns, but he was in a contract war with Mike Lynn because Mike Lynn was cheap. So he recommended Les Steckel, and he knew Les was
idiot.
He knew Les was going to fail, but guess what? Les got fired the day after the final game, and Bud was hired back that Tuesday.
So, but anyways, the Wilfs are hands off. They are very, very patient. I mean, they weren't. Well, there wasn't the Wilfs that fired Frazier. It was Spielman, and then Spielman had what 2011 to 2021. So he had 11 seasons as a GM, which is pretty good.
And he thought he was going to be safe too when they let go of Zimmer, and he got canned.
Yep. Yeah. And that was the next morning they fired them both.
Yeah.
But
my phone was blowing up. I was grocery shopping, and everybody's like, "Yeah, Zimmer got fired, and so did Spielman." I'm like, "Wait, Spielman got fired too?"
So when that happened, I was not for that.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted Zimmer to stay because I liked Zimmer as a coach. I was unaware, like most Minnesotans were, of the locker room turmoil between the coach and the players and whatnot.
I had heard it, but I kind of blew it off. I had heard the rumblings.
Right. It's like you'd hear things here and there. You might see something on Twitter or whatever. Yeah. But I'm just like, that's somebody popping off at the mouth. I'm not going to take that seriously. But when I heard that they were getting rid of both, I'm like, okay, good, fine, get rid of them both then. Because I had enough of Spielman. Their drafting was pretty good from like 2012 to 2015.
It was good up until Scott Stedwell retired.
And then it went to shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say that Spielman was a fucking genius or anything, because he wasn't.
Far from it.
But
where is he at? He's at the Jets now, right?
I thought he was down in Jacksonville.
He's helping somebody out.
Oh, he did go to the Jets.
Wasn't he a consultant or something?
Yeah.
I know he was an analyst on TV for a little bit. Like I'd see him like eating something somewhere.
Okay, if we got Spielman on there as an analyst, all three of us need to be on TV as an analyst.
Right? Yeah, I'll take a lot less money than he will too. I'll take a lot less money than he'll take.
Exactly.
But, with all that being said, I do not see in any scenario for at least a few more years where the Wilfs would run off anybody from this regime. Unless, like, if Kwesi has another really, really bad draft, maybe.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you look at like I said, you look at all the bad drafts that Spielman had. Spielman had some bad ones.
Yes.
Like, you know, I mean, he would hit on first rounders, but first rounders are not, as long as you're not, generally speaking, selecting a quarterback, you generally are going to hit on your first round picks for the most part, which the Vikings did. They missed on what year was Ponder's? 2011.
Ponder was 2011. 12 was Harrison Smith and Khalil. But Khalil looked like he was going to be the guy.
Harrison Smith Matt Khalil was drafted in 2013.
2013 was Sharif Floyd, Xavier Rhodes, and
Cordero.
Yeah. And now, see, we don't know what would have happened with Sharif because they botched his surgery.
Yeah, he had to end up suing because
whoever that surgeon was.
Coach now.
That wasn't the team doctor though, was it?
No, that was somebody else.
Yeah,
I thought it was a team doctor.
No,
he went to some other surgeon. I think it was like down in like Texas or some shit.
Yeah, it was a specialist of some sort.
Yeah, the guy ruined his knee.
Yeah, he wasn't so special at all. He cut the wrong ligament. God damn, yeah, one job.
Man, I hope he had some seriously good malpractice insurance because he just caused imagine a malpractice lawsuit on a first round draft pick, career ending. Ooh.
That was going to get a good second contract at that.
Because he was really starting to come on too, and then bam, that knee went out, and he was done.
He was kind of like the vocal point of that defense. Him and Linval, they looked like they were going to work, and then the knee goes.
Can you imagine that defense? Like if Sharif Floyd had played in 2017, that defense was really good already.
You got Floyd, Joseph, you've got Robinson starting, and Everson.
Yeah. Who was their other defensive tackle that would have spelled him? God, he was pretty good too. And was that
Tom Johnson?
Yeah. Tom Johnson.
Oh yeah, Tom Johnson.
And I mean, he wasn't like you'd never give him a 90 in Madden, but
you get 20 snaps out of him.
Yeah.
20, 30
and he played that whole year, but no, I don't see like I get like people's frustrations and stuff, but the Wilfs just aren't like that, and they don't fire guys. They just don't.
No, they don't. They'll wait till the end of the season if they decide to fire him at all.
So what's the next move, Lefty? Do we start seeing the offensive side of the ball get tweaked a little bit? Because me personally, I don't think Wes Phillips should be back, but I do understand it. I don't think Josh McCown should be back, but I don't understand it.
They don't really. I mean, they don't really. They're entitled. You think they're doing something, but this is all KOCs.
Yeah, I don't understand what Wes Phillips does, to be honest.
He gets the coffee and donuts on Monday for the meeting.
I mean, like, if you're the offensive coordinator and you're not calling plays, what are you doing?
You're just.
Are you like helping him like design plays? Right. Like you're basically an assistant to the head coach.
Yeah, and if that's the case, KOC's not listening to him at all.
Some people say that he creates the game plan for Sunday, and then KOC just orders off that game plan. So like what Wes does is he goes in and he figures out what they should do against certain teams, and he says, "Here, Kevin, here's a game plan." And then Kevin says, "All right, cool. I'm going to run this play, that play, that play, that play." I'm like,
so the first 15 plays are Wes's, and after that, it's KOC.
You know, that's the thing too, is that
makes a lot of sense.
That's right.
Times, like from like what 2022 up until this year, basically, whenever, and even this year to a point, like whenever he's had his starting quarterback, that opening drive was like, wow, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay, so why don't we just go back and do that until they stop us?
You'll have to ask KOC.
Like, I never got that.
Or
here's what it is, but
when the running game is working, why don't you stick with it?
No, you gotta pass. Nah, man. You gotta pass. Man. You gotta pass, man. You 20 yards down the field, man. You running for what? For what?
Because
to pick it off and get the other team to get back in. You can't control the line of scrimmage. You can't control the clock. It's not football. hell you talk about, Tony? You got a pass, man.
That's funny that you mentioned that, because I remember going into that playoff game against the Giants, and I remember watching the Giants game 2 weeks prior to that, the first whiteout game they ever had, and watching Dalvin Cook just torch the Giants in that game, in that first game. Like he did really well, but when they didn't go back to that in the second game, because the Giants' run defense was terrible that year. Like that was super egregious, and a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, Kirk Cousins shouldn't have thrown that pass, and he should have threw a 5% ball to Justin Jefferson." Okay, fine. Also, T.J. Hawkinson, how do you get tackled by a cornerback who's 5'9" and weighs 190 pounds?
Because it's T.J. Hawkinson.
Like what the dude? Shed a tackle, would you?
No, but if you actually go back to that game, Kevin O'Connell with the fourth down that he didn't convert, that leads to the Giants actually scoring, and now you get the ball back with less time.
Oh, you mean that fourth down? It was all of a sudden a wide receiver option, and he decided to throw it back to Kirk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that play.
That did not work in the playoffs, and then the Giants get the ball, they score, and now you're pressing to actually win this game.
I was super hammered at that game, but yeah, I do remember that play.
Yeah, it was like, what are you doing? Just take it off.
This podcast has gotten depressing just with thinking about that.
TB, we're Vikings fans. We're nothing but depressed.
I know. 50 years of this crap.
It is what it is. What do you do?
I'm just saying, like, when the offensive side of the ball, I just feel like I still believe in McCarthy. I think he can still be, a viable quarterback in this league. I don't know if he can be a superstar. He can be serviceable, but I just feel like he looked really like non-prepared coming into the season. Like some stuff he was just overwhelmed. I'm not sure if that's just the rookie jitters, because you can't skip year one, regardless of you being in the league for a whole season. You did not play. You didn't.
Or the possibility that the Vikings lied to us about his progress.
I mean, there's a lot to be said about that. I think I was at 2 practices, and he looked good in both of those practices. I went to the night practice, which is super fun. Anybody watching, if you live in the state and you have a kid, take him to that, because it doesn't cost much and it's a lot of fun for the whole family. It's super fun doing that. So do that if you can. But like he looked pretty good in those practices. What I think is that I think there was a little bit of that, the rookie jitters, and also just, I mean, you guys saw it, like when he would have like an easy lob pass, you just gotta lob it like 12 yards to a guy.
Yeah, he put some
out of his arm like he was Brett Favre, trying to off of him.
Yeah.
So I think I mean, if you look back at it, he was 6-4 as a starter this year. If you ask me, do I like what I see? I'll put aside kind of the Packers game and the Giants game because he got hurt. But there was a lot to like in a lot of those games, and there was a lot that I'd be like, that's very rookie of him. Yeah. And people are like, well, he's not a rookie quarterback. It's his second year, actually. Yeah, well, you know what? Patrick Mahomes didn't play until his second year, but you know what he got to do in his rookie year? Run the damn scout team the whole freaking year.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference.
It makes a huge difference. It is massive, because you're still learning your own offense, but you're also learning to run the opposing team's offenses. And so you're getting a whole lot, you're getting just tons more knowledge about playing quarterback.
And also another thing,
just your own system, but someone else's too.
He played behind a very bad offensive line this year.
No, the offensive line's not bad.
I don't think the well, here's the problem with the offensive line.
I was being sarcastic, man. I'm just saying, like, it's we having this conversation about the offensive line every year. And I'm kind of like tired with the offensive line because they overspent for guys that they probably didn't even need.
And I did not know Kelly was that punch drunk. I'm just going to be honest with you. I didn't know it. And the guy is, every time he walks on the field, he's going to get concussed.
When you have through our first 5 games, we had 15 different offensive line combinations.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard to have any consistency with your offensive line play. I also think they would have benefited from, hey, just, fire the goddamn ball out of your hands a little faster, or just take off and run. If you don't see nothing right away, just get out of there. Just bail out.
But you know what? KOC does not like running quarterbacks.
Well, guess what?
That's the league. What are you talking about? Yeah.
And the funny thing is that they actually, I literally watched interviews with KOC this year where they said, yeah, I want him to take off if he can. If he has to, just take off. If you don't see nothing, just take off. I don't, that's what he said. And then, whatever.
He changed his mind during the game.
Whether he changed his mind or McCarthy just either got deer in headlights mode or just panicked, whatever. I'd rather you panic and take off running than panic and run around like you're not Fran Tarkenton in 1962. But
sometimes he was running like he was Joe Cap in 69, which kind of scared me.
Yeah, that's true.
The running is like they don't want him to get hurt because
he's right now. It's you don't want to put the fragile thing on him, but anytime he takes a shot, you're like, God, get up, look like you're okay.
But you can fix all this by running the ball consistently,
right? You can.
You can
that doesn't work with KOC. Running the ball does not work. With KOC.
It certainly. I feel like they got better at it towards the end of the year. Especially once they got in their 5-game winning streak. I feel like they did after that Seattle game, I feel like they were like, okay, you know what? Did they still pass a lot? Yeah, but they didn't pass as much. Like the passing numbers seem to have gone down.
Well, even against the Packers at last game, he was down at the goal line and he was 3 straight passes and they were running the ball.
Right.
He can't, it's almost like he can't help himself.
No, he can't.
They got force-fed that bullshit that it's a passing league, guys. Well,
the best teams, the teams that are still in the playoffs, are running the ball. They're balanced offense.
Especially.
And that's exactly what you've always seen. Even when when Drew Brees and Peyton Manning were throwing for 5,000 yards a season, when it started to turn that way. Guess what?
Had a running back. They still had a running back.
The team that was winning most of those Super Bowls was the New England Patriots, and guess what they did well? They ran the damn ball.
Yep.
I think Tom Brady throw for 5,000 yards once. The first year he had Moss, and they won 17 games and lost the damn Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yep.
But
by the way, guys, was it just me or in that Bears-Rams game? Did McVay look like he was calling some plays like he was KOC?
He was just. I think he was just pulling at straws, man. He was trying to not to lose to the Bears.
I tell you this much: Ben Johnson sure looked like he did. Like he was.
My gosh, yeah.
I thought they had it after the Caleb play to tie it up. I was just like, okay.
I know.
This
play, I still couldn't believe that play. I'm like,
okay, all right, they got it, and then it ends on an interception, and the Rams win the game. Like,
Caleb was Caleb.
Caleb
was Caleb.
And don't get me wrong, I don't have a ton of love for the Bears. I do. There's a Bears podcast that I watch quite frequently, the 4-Star Chicago Sports Show. I don't know if you've ever seen them, guys.
I've heard of that one, yeah.
But they're super cool dudes, and I was rooting for the Bears to win that game. First and foremost, I 100% probably would not do this for Green Bay against LA, but I will almost always root for anybody else against. Especially, I hate the Rams. I've hated the Rams since they stole our goddamn points record a year later. I hate that team. I hated Kurt Warner so much. Every single time I had to see his goddamn wife on TV. Oh my God. It'd be like,
That's what pissed me off. Every time you saw her, you just want to scream.
God, I hate that woman. I don't even know her. I'm sure she's a nice woman, but I just could not stand seeing her face on TV anymore. I just got so sick. If I heard Iowa Barnstormers one more time, I was going to snap. And I was like 17 or 18 in high school.
I saw her on TV so much, I was calling her Cruella DeVille after a while. She was on TV all the damn time.
Like, it just was the haircut. That's all it was.
It was the haircut. Because once when her hair got longer, I was like, damn, she's actually kind of cute.
Yeah, you was okay.
Yeah, cut, dude, get out of here. That's
sorry, I'm past that. She's annoying with the short hair. She'll be annoying with the long hair.
But
same barber. Hey, meet me first and her next. That's exactly what happened. They had the same haircut.
Oh man, it's like that's almost like they went to the Marine Corps to get their haircuts.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Oh my God, but no, I can't stand the Rams. I wanted the Bears to win that game so much. I'm dead on I've been on Seattle's bandwagon since about week 17. I want Seattle to win the Super Bowl, and I used to hate Seattle a lot when Pete Carroll was there, but I don't know. It's kind of gone away since then. But
you know what though, when they lost that Super Bowl the way they did to the Patriots, I was like, served them right.
That's what it's going to be part 2. It's going to be New England and Seattle part 2.
God, I don't want New England. Well, to be honest, I don't like Denver either. I can't stand Denver.
Anytime I see Sean Payton lose, I'm happy.
There's that. I've also, the only time I ever remember, like, I like Denver when they beat Green Bay. When Elway beat Green Bay, I was like, yeah, like, screw you, Favre. Screw all these Packer fans that thought they were going to win the Super Bowl that year. Elway will choke for fifth time or whatever. Well, actually, that was his 4th Super Bowl. I think the Broncos lost the Super Bowl before he got there. But I am just, I wanted Houston to win so bad last weekend.
Yeah, I did.
No, I did too.
CJ Stroud I don't know what happened. Yeah,
I am a big fan of DeMeco Ryan. He could have been our coach, but he knew he wasn't going to get the gig.
Yeah, he turned it down.
Yep, he knew he wasn't going to get it.
He turned it down, waited a year, and got a better gig.
He turned it down, and so did Raheem Morris, because they knew that Minnesota was all in on
total. I'm about to get that job. That's pretty total. When they went back to LA, I'm about to get that job. Chill out.
I think especially after having a defensive head coach for 8 years that the Vikings were going to go with an offensive one anyways, but
yeah, well, this is offensive, all right. My God, the guy sucks at play calling.
Yeah, they got something on offense.
Definitely declined, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we ripped on the DiFilippos and the Stefanskis and the Norv Turners, and we graduate to this.
Well, Pat Shurmur got us. He got us to the.
Had a great year, but he was a double agent. I was so pissed.
He was looking to get a contract.
Yeah, man, he just gave up in the title game. Like, you can't run nothing else.
Shurmur and Sperano were the ones that started the rift between Norv and Zim. So,
is Sperano the one that died right before?
Yeah, Sperano's the one that passed
away.
The
offensive line coach, right?
Yeah, the O-line coach.
Yeah, that was in 2018?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they had worked with Sam Bradford before, so when they got Bradford up here, Shurmur and Sperano were like, we know what works for Sam. So we should be calling the plays for him. And Norv was on his way out the door anyway. He was going to retire.
Right.
So next thing you know, Norv and Zimmer get into it after the Chicago loss on Monday night. And I guess punches were thrown. And that's how Zimmer got his eye messed up.
2 old dudes throwing punches and probably not landing.
That's how Zimmer got his eye messed up. And
then,
if you're a player and you see that, you're like, oh man, here these old dudes go. Cut it out.
One, you're shocked because it's happened, and then 2, when you get to sit back and think about it, it's like you're probably just laughing your ass off at it because you're like, not a punch landed. I mean,
they were probably like, hey, it's Tyson versus Holyfield 3.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Shurmur was already out the door, and then he goes, where did he go? To the Giants?
To the Giants, and was
Shurmur left for the Giants after the NFC Championship game loss.
And he only lasted, a year or 2?
A year and a half.
Wow.
He was
Wow. It wasn't long.
He should have stayed the OC with us.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes,
Yeah, I'd take the money, to be honest.
yeah.
Well, and you know what? Everybody,
that's career money right there. You don't ever have to. Generally speaking, once you take a head coaching job, I mean, that's all guaranteed.
yeah.
Right.
And so even when you get fired, you know,
You're going to get some money afterwards.
That's generation. That's like coordinators I'm not saying coordinators don't make good money, because they, you know, some of them do, but most of them aren't exactly like, you can't just take a coordinator job for like 4 years and be done. But
right,
you can take a head coach. You can take one head coach job and be like, you know what? I don't need to work again.
Well, yeah, especially when they fire you, no man. And if like Zimmer signed that extension, I think he had 2 years still on it when they fired him. A year or two. So he was
at least
being, you know, sitting back collecting a paycheck.
He sat back and chilled for 2 years and was like, I want to coach again. And then
Childress, I think, got a 3-year. That's why he didn't coach for the longest time, because he was sitting back relaxing.
Childress got his extension, I think, like middle of 2009?
Yeah.
And then he was gone before.
He was gone before. It wasn't even a year. He was gone.
Yeah.
And he had signed maybe I think it was a 3-year extension.
Mm-hmm.
And he was gone.
He got some heavy paychecks to be a consultant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I don't know what the hell he's going to consult.
he linked up with
he went back to KC with Reed.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like an offensive consultant or something, or quality.
You know what's funny though? He was
whatever.
as far away from the field as possible. He was in the.
That was a good place for him.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what's funny? Didn't him and Brewster end up on the same staff after Brewster got canned? Because didn't Brewster
they were on the same staff before?
Or was
before
it
Brewster
before?
got the U of M job? They had worked together in the NFL.
Okay.
Yeah, because when all the negative stuff was going on here, you're in the Twin Cities, right, Lefty?
Yeah, I live just south of the mall.
Okay, so you remember they got Brewster up here, but the negativity on Childress was so great that Brewster had to go in front of the podium and say positive things about Childress.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. I do.
Yeah, I'm like, because it was nobody wanted Childress up here.
People wanted Childress gone after his first year.
Oh, we were beating the Lions, and the fans were chanting "Fire Childress" at the Metrodome during the game.
I was at that game.
Were you there?
That was the game that Jared Allen chased what's his face out of the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
That safety. Yeah, I was at that game. So that was back in the paper tickets days, which wasn't that long ago. But
it wasn't that long ago.
Like the ones that were actually like not the ones you printed, but the ones they printed out. And
the ones they printed out for you,
yeah. Yeah, I took my dad and my grandpa, and I think I got them from a scalper for like $30. We were on like the 30-yard line, about, 30 rows up or so on the Lion sideline. And yeah, the Fire Childress chants were louder than the cheering of that Jared Allen chase of what's his face, like Orlovsky in the back of the end zone. And it was still going through that play. It was still Fire Childress, and that was 2008.
Yeah, he only been here a year. He only been here a couple of years.
So we
got his third season.
Guys. We got a question. It says, "What's the ideal plan for the QB room?"
Get a veteran of some sort.
It's easy for me. I feel the same way.
Get a veteran. Now who you get, I don't know.
Who would you want, Lefty?
Who would I want? I am fine with. It's not ideal, but I would be perfectly fine with Carson Wentz coming back and having a complete offseason in-house.
Okay.
I would be fine if they brought in like Marcus Mariota.
Mariota would be cheaper.
I want nothing to do with Mac Jones.
Me too. I'm in that book.
I know. I don't want Mac Jones.
I think.
Zach Wilson?
You know, what's that?
Zach Wilson?
The Milf Hunter? I don't know.
Pass. Zach Wilson had one good game, ironically, against the Vikings.
True.
Mac Jones had one good game, ironically
against the Vikings
in the same season. Of course, every quarterback had a really good game against the Vikings that year. You got
think
Daniel Jones about $140 million.
So what you're saying is you want somebody that's basically started consistently in NFL, didn't really work out, and can basically come into this quarterback room and be a veteran. Not anybody that's going to be like, all right, he has to compete with McCarthy.
I think if you bring back Wentz with the training camp, it's probably better instead of off the street. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that a lot of people forget is that Carson Wentz was forced to start a game.
He'd only been here a week or two, a week maybe.
About 3 weeks after he signed.
Yeah.
So he had 3 weeks to digest the playbook, and
this KOC playbook really, really, really big. He has a lot of crazy plays in it.
Right.
All pass.
Yeah, and he'll run 80% of them in a game.
Yep.
Yeah, right about that's another thing he doesn't like to do. Is like he does not like to run the same play twice in the same game. Like, dude, if it works, it works. Keep going back to it until they figure it out. I don't understand that.
And the one thing about that game that Wentz started, I was at that game against Cincinnati. It's probably a much different game if Burrow is playing.
Yeah. Completely different game if Burrow.
It's a completely different game if Burrow is playing, but Cincinnati's defense is trash.
Their defense was bad. Their offensive line's bad too. So I think does Burrow throw the picks that what's his face threw? Browning? Unlikely. I think we probably still win that game, but I don't think we win it like 48-3 or whatever the hell it was.
The Bengals could not hang on to the ball that day. They fumbled the ball.
Nobody
could. They did not want to win that game at all.
Right.
No,
I think Browning only threw like what? I think he threw 2 picks, but it was all fumbles. Like the running guy threw like 3 damn times.
Rodgers got one on a fumble return and INT, and everything else was a fumble or fumbles.
Yeah.
You
yep.
know?
So it might be different, but
yeah. And that was one of the few games where KOC did run the ball.
Right. Without having like a list of who like I said, I know Mariota is a free agent, I think, and I know Wentz is still here, but without having that list of known like veteran quarterback free agents, it's hard to go anyone else other than that.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I'd be fine with if Carson Wentz is the backup quarterback coming in. I'd be fine with that. Do I want to see someone like, are you bringing in a legitimate contender, like name a legitimate contender to dethrone JJ McCarthy? I guess so I would have to hear someone's argument in that first of who would come in here and be like, this guy's going to compete against McCarthy.
Exactly.
Like, I don't
actually, he would actually need a veteran too, to kind of help him with the playbook, with some mechanics, somebody that is not there to take the job, but kind of be a mentor to the kid.
That's why I don't get the Mac Jones situation, because the Mac Jones situation is like people are saying like he's going to come in here and compete, and he's going to be the quarterback so McCarthy can sit. Like,
and that if you're thinking the Mac Jones thing, they bring up Mac Jones because he's kind of the quarterback that KOC likes.
No, he's the quarterback that Shanahan's new quarterback. So Kevin O'Connell is like, oh, not Kevin O'Connell, but some Viking fans are like, well, maybe we should go there and get that. Mac Jones was available in the offseason.
Yeah, we didn't want him.
We didn't want him. So why did you want him now?
If they didn't want him last year, they're not going to want him this year.
Yeah, like what's
but I also think a lot of the not going after Mac Jones. I mean, they didn't go after any quarterback in the offseason.
No, they didn't.
They only traded for Sam Howell. That was it.
They traded for him, and they had, that's it. And then they had Rippon already, and then they signed Brosmer the day after the draft.
Brosmer wasn't even supposed to make the team. He was supposed to be practice squad all the way.
He literally only made that team because of how bad Sam Howell and Sean Rippon, or was it Brett Rippon or Sean Rippon? I can't remember.
Brett
Rippon. He made the team because of how bad those two were. That's why.
And looked at how he looked.
Sorry. I'm sorry. With all due respect to Max Brosmer, and it's not his fault.
Oh man.
He was throwing against guys who were moving on to their job at Denny's after the preseason was over. So let's not like, oh my God, like, Oh, I hate that, dude. At TB, you know what I'm talking about because Vikings fans have always done this shit. Remember what's his face from the University of Miami in '92? Remember the preseason that they had? Yes, and
Gino
Vikings fans are like, oh
Torretta.
my God, Gino Torretta should be starting over Rich Gannon and Sean Salisbury. You guys are morons. That was literally a thing, D Woods. I swear to God, it was. And I was
Dorothy, why are you bringing this up?
I was 10 years old. And I was like, why do they? I like asked him. I was 10 years old, asking my dad, why do people want Gino Torretta to start over Rich Gannon and Sean Salisbury? And my dad's just like, I don't know, because Vikings fans are stupid.
Well, and here's a weird thing. Even before Lefty, this is even older than you. They wanted Steve Dills over Tommy Kramer, and I'm like, the only reason you want Steve Dills to start over Kramer is because Dills is sober.
Wow.
Right. And guess what? Drunk Tommy Kramer was better than Steve Dills.
Exactly.
In fact, drunk Tommy Kramer played better because he was hurt and he could play drunk.
Yep.
So he get drunk to numb the injuries because he was constantly hurt all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But he also got his ass kicked too a lot. Like that offensive line was not in that offensive line.
We talk about this offensive line right now. That offensive line back then was
that offensive line. It took Bud Grant and Jerry Burns quite a long time to rebuild it after all those guys retired, after Parkinson retired.
Yeah.
But when they got to like 1987, that offensive line was good. After they drafted
once they got Randall McDaniel and they had Zimmerman and Irwin, it got better.
Yep. I mean, you had Kirk Loudermilk, and then you had Randall McDaniel, and your two tackles were Zimmerman and Tim Irwin, and I can't remember who the right guard was. Todd Kalis. That offensive line, holy Christ, it was good. And that offensive line played together until 92, I think.
Was free agency because then Loudermilk and Habib and all those guys went to, Habib went to Denver and won the ring.
Gary Zimmerman went to Denver.
Yeah, they both did.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they both did. Yeah, Zimmerman had a falling out with Denny Green.
A lot of people had a falling out with Denny Green. A lot of people
had a falling out with Denny Green. And
I think the only person that ever really got along with Denny Green was Chris Carter.
Yeah, and that pissed off a lot of the players.
They probably got the same personality.
That's what pissed off a lot of the players.
Be honest. You're not wrong. Like, Denny was a character, that's for sure.
I mean, here's the thing: we've talked about, with O'Connell, how they give Connell cover, hasn't won a playoff game yet. Like I said before, they tried to run Denny Green out of here after he lost his second playoff game. Then by his third and fourth playoff game, it was a full-on mutiny. They wanted him out of here.
To be honest, Denny. People say that, they're talking about how, the Vikings made this giant mistake in not re-signing Sam Darnold. And there's a lot to be said for it. It looks like that might have been a mistake, and that's fine. You're allowed to make those mistakes. I understand why they made that mistake. I probably would have done the same thing because I'd have been like, well, actually, you know what? I'm going to be completely honest with you, and I'm going to say that mistake would not have happened because I would have when they signed Sam Darnold, I wouldn't have signed him to a 1 year, $10 or $12 million. I would have signed him to 3 years and been like, hey, how about we give you 3 years and 30 some million, and a lot of it be, either incentive base or, not guaranteed.
But you know what though?
He probably takes it.
The year that Sam had wasn't expected.
No, I didn't expect. I mean,
that's why Sam
nobody expected.
They should have started talking to him during the season.
There was two. I bet you there's one person that expected that, and that was Kyle Shanahan. Is the only person in the world that expected Sam Darnold to do what he did that year.
Somebody said Daniel Jones, Mac Jones, or maybe Russell Wilson.
Well, Daniel Jones now is damaged goods.
This is what I don't get though, man. Can we stop bringing up Daniel Jones? He can't play next year. He has one leg that's broken and the other leg has a torn Achilles. When is he ever going to rehab?
Daniel Jones is unlikely to play until like November.
Exactly. Like
You know what though? There was a name mentioned in that Colts roster that's a QB that KOC would love to have.
Anthony
Richardson.
Yes.
I mean, if you can get him for nothing, but
and
I don't know.
I don't know. It's Cersei's daughter's running the team. I'm sure you could talk him out of them.
Right.
I mean, because I don't know. I don't even know who the quarterback's going to be in Indianapolis.
That's the thing is they kind of need him now. But
yeah,
getting back to that, I know I got lost on a tangent there, but with Denny, I think he made a much bigger blunder, and that was letting Rich Gannon go. I think that was a bigger blunder than the Darnold thing.
You know what, though? Rich had a really good – they talked to him after he retired. All the years that he played quarterback, he didn't have a real quarterback coach, I think, till he got to Kansas City, and it was Mike McCarthy. And he credited McCarthy for him playing better, but up until like Minnesota, Washington, he didn't have a quarterback coach. But when he got to where he was with McCarthy –
have that many coaches.
Huh?
Back then, you didn't have that many coaches. You had
no, you didn't. You just had your regular.
Had an offensive coordinator. You had an offensive line coach. You had a defensive line coach, a defensive coordinator,
linebackers coach.
Yeah, you didn't have like now the coaching staff is like 50 people, right? You got
you've got an assistant to the assistant to the assistant of the D line.
I mean, you go back and you look at like Bud's last staff, right? You had like Jerry Burns, you had Bud Grant, you had Jerry Burns. I don't know who the hell their defensive coordinator would have been in 1985.
Bob Holloway. 85, it was Bob Holloway.
5 coaches. That was it. And a trainer. You had a special teams coach.
And by the way, our special teams
coaches, 2 offensive coaches, and the head coach.
The special teams coach was Bud.
He had his name twice.
It was Bud.
And then you had your equipment manager.
Yeah. And he had been with the team since the beginning. He was like the team historian when he passed.
Yeah, Zamberletti.
Zamberletti, yeah. And then, matter of fact, Pete Carroll, Bud's last year, was his secondary coach. That's why he always has such respect for Bud, because Bud and Burns.
And I'll bet I'd almost be willing to bet. I bet you the Vikings' first offensive line coach was Mike Tice after he retired after 92, and they hired him as an offensive line coach.
Wow.
No, the line coach was John Michaels. I'm
friends with
his daughter for John Michaels for years.
I mean, I remember them having a defensive line coach that was John Tierlink. He ended up going to the Lions after he left the Vikings.
Before Tierlink, it was Paul Wiggins, and before Paul Wiggins, it was Jack Patera.
Okay. Is he related to Ken?
Yeah, that's his brother.
Oh, really?
That's his brother.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Ken Patera brothers.
Oh, it makes sense.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, now you've got so many coaches and another thing too, you've got all these coaches. So sometimes that coaching philosophy gets lost.
Too much.
It gets lost in translation. Which
I was going to respond to 2 meme to big no on Russell Wilson as well. He's washed.
He should just hang it up.
Completely washed.
He should just hang it up.
Hey, before we get out of here in the chat, does anybody have any more questions? Any more questions?
Ooh, I do want to go back to the Bob Swede one. I would also be perfectly fine with Kirk Cousins coming back as a backup quarterback. I would be fine with that as well.
What is this love affair with Kirk Cousins?
I don't think it'll happen, but I'd be perfectly fine with him as a backup quarterback.
Well, you know what? It probably won't happen because that's why they hire Stefanski. It sounds like Penix is going to be out as long as Daniel.
I mean, he's hurt. He's repairing the ACL.
But if you're the Falcons, do you want to keep paying him $45 million a year?
No.
You know what? The Falcons are in such disarray right now. Yeah, they're going to keep paying him.
I mean, that's possible.
Yeah. I mean, a fan base, and I know this for, like I was telling D Woods.
But they have an easy out if they want. Like they only owe him $10 million now.
The fans are ready to revolt.
Do you think Kirk will come back though? Do you guys think Kirk would, if he gets cut from Atlanta, do you think he would want to come back to me?
He left on good terms, I think.
I think if he didn't get an offer to be a starter somewhere and the Vikings were like, hey, you want to come back here for, $10 million or $8 million to be the backup, I think he'd take it.
You think so?
I don't know.
If he didn't get an offer somewhere.
Kirk,
Like if he didn't get,
you know what?
if he
He's
didn't get
got enough money now where he can hang
$8
it up.
million. I need 20.
I think
Plus, he's got the TV, what he did on TV,
Yeah,
which
on TV.
that probably works too.
But
So,
I mean, we also got to remember is that he gets cut by Atlanta.
mm-hmm.
He's getting $10 million plus whoever picks him up. So he's still going to make 18 million. Like, even if he only gets 8, he's still making $18 million this year.
And think about it. He just got off the Vikings books last year.
Right.
So
yeah, he was still owed money.
Yeah, he just got off the
we were paying him. That's kind of funny because we were paying Darnold $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
We were also paying Kirk Cousins $28 million that year.
Yeah.
So when I was looking at that, like thinking, because, and I'm not going to lie to you, I was a huge Kirk Cousins fan. I liked him as our quarterback. I thought he was just fine. I thought he was much better once Kevin O'Connell got here. And he was the game that he got. I was at the game that he got hurt in Green Bay. I was also at the Monday night game against San Francisco. And after we beat San Francisco, I was absolutely friggin' jacked. And so that Friday morning, I was able to get tickets. I was in like this, I want to say like the 8th row in the end zone where Cousins got hurt on that side of the field in Lambeau. And I brought my kid out there. And I've never been so jacked for a game and for our team that I was that day. And I was like, this is it. He's in his peak form. He's perfect. He's going off right now. He doesn't even have Jefferson right now.
Right.
And he is absolutely torching everyone. And I remember watching him limp off the field. And I opened Twitter and I was waiting for like Seifert or somebody. And as I saw him limp off, I'm like, that looks like an Achilles. Yeah. And when I saw it, we're leaving, and my boy says to me after the game was over, we get to my truck and we're starting because we didn't have a room for that game. We drove out there early in the morning. It was a noon game. We left Minnesota at 4:30, got to Green Bay about 9, left Green Bay about 3:45 or so. I got home at 9:30. We're leaving Green Bay. We're getting into my truck, and my kid looks at me and he goes, "Dad, we won that game, but feels like we lost." And I looked at him and I go,
yeah,
that's exactly what happened, buddy. Like, we won, but we lost. But so that was the most disappointing thing I've seen in a long time. And honestly, I think things would have worked out a lot different if that didn't happen for him.
True.
But I'd be perfectly fine. Like if he came back as our backup, I'd be perfectly fine with that.
That's real insurance because I mean, with McCarthy, like we know Kirk Cousins can go out there and win a couple of games. We know
it's a 1,000,000% better option than Wentz, Mac Jones, Russell Wilson, Mariota, all of it.
We have to
scenario for a backup quarterback.
You have to upgrade that offensive line.
I'm just like, oh my God, Mac. What do you do on the offensive line? You overpay, like you overpay for Will Fries.
I think Ryan Kelly is most likely a retirement settlement.
So who do you replace him with, a draft pick, or you go sign a guy when you already capped?
Ryan Kelly? I think you move Blake Brandel into the center spot.
I don't know if I trust him there on a full-time basis.
I think he has more value as
he's a swing man, which is where we need him.
Yeah.
You could call the Raiders and ask about the one dude. They got him playing guard, but he's technically a center.
Yeah. Offer some of your mid-round picks.
Johnson Powers, whatever Powers Johnson.
Since we don't hit on those anyways.
Yeah. I mean,
everybody's gonna complain about, oh my God, we keep trading picks. Oh my God. But I'm gonna get out of here, guys. I know it's late out there more. So Brian Flores is back. Thank you everybody for on this emergency.
You know what? He's back right now.
He's back. He's unfortunately for him, and I feel bad for him because I think he deserves one. I don't think he's getting a head coaching job this year.
It doesn't say much for the league when they're hiring a bunch of people that don't even have the resume that he does.
They're just gonna get fired, Tony.
Like I said, there's risk
you
involved.
did say that, D Woods.
There's a lot of risk involved with hiring him because then you can't fire him, and you have to be able to fire a head coach if you need to be.
And they're trying to keep that lawsuit as hush hush as possible.
They don't.
Gruden's lawsuit.
What's that?
What about John Gruden? Doesn't he have a lawsuit?
Gruden?
Oh, Gruden. They said Gruden could go ahead with his and go public. That's why the NFL panicked.
Yeah, and that's the NFL is
why they panicked,
going to do the same thing with
right, because Flores, and it's even worse for Flores because Flores is African American. So his comes public, and how it went down. You think the NFL's got a black eye with Gruden? They'll have a matching one with Flores.
True.
Right. And the Flores one, they are, I feel like they're just waiting to work towards an agreeable settlement. And I don't think that's coming anytime soon right now. And so I do not think that any
lefty.
Yeah. Right. I don't think at this point any NFL owner wants to. I think if there was one that would be willing to do it, it's the Steelers, because the Steelers don't fire people. So I think if he's going to get a head coaching job, that's his best bet. If he doesn't get that job, then he's back here for sure. That's the only team that I'm worried about, because the Steelers have nothing to worry about because they don't fire anybody.
They don't fire coaches. All right, guys.
So we'll talk about it when we get another chance. But it's wait and see. And
kids, stop gambling. Like me and Lefty had the conversation.
Absolutely, D Woods. That's a show for another time.
That's a whole other show. Kids, stop gambling. You're going nowhere. All right, guys.
Yep. All right, you guys take care.